this week we're talking about nothing really super crazy, just how hard touring is becoming.
I thought it was very interesting, that article.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. First off,
Here we go.
Where did Lorde go? Like, she was so popular with the Royal song and that whole album.
I just had this conversation with somebody recently.
And then she just like poofed, and now she's like back. And right before the pandemic, she was gonna go on tour, and then like went away. And then she's trying to do it again now, and it's too expensive.
Here's the thing: is that like, first off, artists like Lorde a lot of time don't go anywhere. It's just that Jacksonville and cities alike are like C markets, and they're not hitting these cities.
She's going on like a world tour, and plus she's from New Zealand too, so she's got to like fucking fly like crazy.
I'm just saying that like Lorde's still very relevant in like the major cities. She just hasn't maintained it in like smaller cities. Is all I'm trying to say.
What?
Second off, so she's been relevant the whole time. She hasn't gone anywhere. She's been relevant the whole time. Is what I'm trying to say.
I disagree.
Okay, and then so second off, I think it's interesting listening to kind of some of the struggles that they have on these tours, just being a smaller independent band and going on tour.
Wait, you're like tongue in cheek about this?
Not tongue in cheek about it. It's a very real struggle, and I feel for them because they have a business to run, and they have to they have overhead, and they have like people that they employ, and there's all this stuff that they're trying to do. Listening to from our perspective, where like we're worrying about like hotel rooms that we have to budget for and how we're going to eat, and their thing is like, well, how do we get a stage from city to city? You know what I mean? It's
from
just,
country to country.
Yeah, country to country. Yeah. It's I'm not like downplaying the severity of the scenario. Obviously, like they've got a status that they're trying to maintain. That's fine. It's just it's wild to me to see the dynamic, like just a difference in what they're facing. You know, it's been a reoccurring theme on this podcast where touring is becoming more and more difficult. If you're not an artist at that level,
even if you are,
and even if you are, you're struggling. But like if you're not like selling out at least theaters, amphitheaters, and above that, it's nearly impossible to really do any tour for any length of time. You're seeing smaller, even Umphreys is doing like 4-day runs, and they're going back. It's like if you look at their schedule, it's like there's like
used to be like 5 nights a week,
right?
Like,
and now it's like a 4 or 5
play Jacksonville
day.
on Tuesday, 100%.
Yeah, and now it's mostly weekend dates and 4 or 5 days off, and then weekend dates somewhere else. It's like it's just becoming increasingly more difficult. Ticket sales are going up, and even though Ticketmaster's like reporting the highest earnings that they've ever had,
go fuck yourself.
You know what I mean? It's just it's wild right now. Like artists are getting screwed at every level. It seems like.
Yeah. Well, and I think there's inflation. That's the thing too. Like, my groceries at Publix have like, I wouldn't say doubled, but I feel it. I don't have as much disposable income as I used to just a couple years ago.
Damn, this guy's shopping at Publix, bro.
Yeah, do you got Publix money?
You got Publix money, bro?
Dude,
Fuck.
yeah, I got Publix money. Yeah.
This fucking guy, bro.
Yeah, we're going.
You get Greenwise brand or what?
Oh God, no, I don't know, none of that.
I'm borrowing a quarter to use the buggy at Aldi. You know what
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, like hustling the old lady.
You an Aldi guy?
I'm an Aldi guy.
Hell yeah, you're an Aldi guy.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't know that about you.
Mm-hmm. And we're all learning.
I feel like that's definitely part of it for sure. I think people have a lot less disposable income, and also too from my friends that do own venues like Tom DeGeorge from Crowbar. He's been kind of sounding the alarm about that for a while. He's like, it's going to be a chain reaction, because what happens is you have these artists that they had these routes and these venues, like let's say to get to Tampa from, I don't know, like even a band in Asheville, there's connecting venues along the way that will feed them as they get down to Tampa.
Right.
But even if Tampa venues do okay, if all the routes aren't like connecting to get them here start to evaporate, they're not going to come here anymore. And so a lot of venues did close down, and a lot of established places with like built-in crowds, or like the people are just sort of accustomed to going to. You guys probably saw it the last couple of years, just venues closing down. I would hear about my friends posting stuff in some city in a venue I didn't know about, but
yeah, we just lost.
Like everyone's.
Yeah, what did we lose?
We just lost Archetype right now recently.
Yeah,
that's true.
R.I.P. Our boy Matthew and Preston and those guys over there. Connor losing their spot, which is a great venue here in Jacksonville. There was almost several venues that we lost for sure during COVID.
Yeah, even if there's people that are going to the shows now, the losses are so devastating and so substantial that it'll take so long to recover, even if they had phenomenal sales the next like couple years.
Right.
That's how bad it was, So even if they might have gotten some loans to like sort of float them maybe for like a month or so, but they were screwed for like a couple years.
And a lot of them are having to pay back those loans because a lot of them didn't qualify for the loan relief. From the artist's perspective, like even Lord in that article is talking about how they're having to like double or triple the amount of dates that they're doing per year now because of having lost 2 years. Most places weren't like Florida. We opened up after a few months.
That's the other thing too, because I don't know if they really said much about it in the article, but like, because they were like contracted to do those shows. Shows were canceled because of COVID. Now they got to do it when everything's 3 times more expensive.
And not just that, but then they have to double up because a lot of those shows are like owed to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then you still got to make money, so you got to double up on those dates or triple on those dates. So like now maybe you had a city, maybe you had a year, you know, of 150 cities or something. Now you got to do double that work in one year, or at least try and make up some of that. Even if it's like 50% of that, that's almost every single day that you're on tour. Artists at that level are touring much more conveniently than we are. However, it's still not being on the road is not easy. I don't care what level you're at. Like being in a different place every day, that's not an easy lifestyle, you know.
Well, maybe that's what we need. Yeah. Just make the rich people actually start losing money and struggling, and then they're like, "Oh, we should probably change."
Well, the artists are the rich people.
That's
too,
what
right?
I'm saying. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a whole different conversation. Just even on top of that, with the way the industry has gone over the last 10 years, right? It's like they're not selling records anymore. So labels are recouping their investment. Now they're taking a piece of the tour and the merchandise too. So artists are getting like hit from every single angle here. So if you want to put on a show like Lord's trying to put on in every different city, you have to travel with your own production. It's not going to be cost effective, I can imagine, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just the industry sort of evolving to its next stage. Imagine someone in maybe like, I don't know the year, I could be getting wrong, but maybe 2011, you have Netflix like on your phone that you can like cast to your TV. And your mom goes, "What do you want to watch tonight?" And you're like, "Oh, you know, whatever the hell." And she's like, "Okay, I'm going to run to Blockbuster. I'll be right back." And you would be like, that's such an antiquated thing. Why would you physically go to a location and then drive there and then, you know, deal with everything there and then come back when you could literally just push a button and have it here on your screen in like beautiful HD or like 4K stunning video? And maybe that's unfortunately, the next step. I mean, because a lot of my kids, man, they don't know, you know, they don't watch TV. I mean, I haven't had cable since 2008. And, you know, I know that the way my parents do things, I look at it and I think it's just so antiquated. Like, what? You have commercials? Like, what? Like, what is that? You know? And so maybe this is the next thing. Like, what? You drive to go see a concert? Like, I just put some goggles on. The sound's amazing. And I'm sitting in my living room. Like, why would you physically go? Like, what? When's the last time you went to like a movie theater? Like, do you just watch Netflix or would you drive out to the movies?
I do go to the theater still. I still go to the theater.
I know, I do. Yeah, I saw that Everything Everywhere All at Once in theaters with Emily. It was incredible. Oh, it's so good. Well, so I will still, because yes, it is an experience, but what happens in like 5-10 years when like the average home theater system is so good, you know, that you don't really need to, you know? And maybe we do because we're conditioned to do that. But like the kids growing up now, like they don't really go to the movies. They're oh, well, we're going to watch a movie, you know? I guess that's the thing I guess I was getting at is like what we're talking about with this. I did peep this article and, you know, she's talking about touring and how difficult it is. And meanwhile, we're sitting here crying about this and there's TikTok stars that are like millionaires and they just have their phone and they just, you know, maybe that's the next evolution and maybe we're so used to like high quality audio because I don't listen to Nugs audio and soundboards either. I like studio quality audio. Same. But the kids that have grown up watching like YouTube stars, you know, with camera phone audio, like they're accustomed to that sort of sound and that's going to be the new thing. And so anyway, that's where I think things are kind of headed, unfortunately.
We had an article that we were talking about a few weeks ago. It's about this platform called Roblox, how they're merging with are you familiar with this? There's a Brazilian company right now that designed graphics for games and whatever. They are now signing a deal with Roblox about doing these virtual music festivals where basically you put on the goggles, you walk in, you're having not just the music, but like the human interaction and also like the games that you play at festivals and the buying merchandise. You get the full-on experience in this virtual world. And I think that because of the way that touring is becoming just not practical anymore, they're signing deals with major artists right now to do like the first iterations of this. And to your point, like we may not be buying into this idea totally right now, but the next generation of kids who are on these platforms are going to grow up with this alternative and not have to like go into the real world. And I think that the bigger artists are just going to take to it immediately because their demographics are like the 18 to 25-year-old kids, and then even earlier than that a lot of the time. So those people are going to be adapting much quicker to that than we will. I think they're just going to be like, well, what do we need to tour for? We're selling virtual tickets to a virtual festival. Not to mention like the idea of residual income from every like specific show after the fact, right? You can sell these experiences after they already happen. So the amount of income possible from that too. I think people are going to look at touring and just be like, why? There's no point.
Yeah, and imagine there's no capacity either. Like you could sell an unlimited number of tickets. It's not going to be what is that Trevor or whatever the hell, that guy, he had like a concert and it like had too many people there. He oversold tickets and people died. Like
Travis Scott.
Yeah, you're not going to have a Travis Scott situation in a digital event when everybody's in their homes,
Right, the capacity for like the literal capacity of the show, it'll be just about the amount that your server can handle basically. And then that'll be the ceiling for it. Yeah. That's
and imagine the sound being perfect wherever you're at. You know what I mean? Like when I go to a festival, sometimes you gotta like fight to get to like the sweet spot, which is usually near the sound booth. But obviously there's gonna be people on the left or right side of the speakers or whatever. Like imagine with like spatial audio too. Like, I don't know if you've experienced that with like the Apple AirPods.
Yeah.
When you turn your head, it's like the sound is over here. I mean, imagine that at a concert experience. Like that would be cool.
5 years from now, 10 years from now, it'll be like you're looking at a person. You can smell the smells. You can like feel the humidity at Swanee. You'll be able to fully experience. It'll be a fully immersive experience. I don't know what the outcome is, but I think that we're screwed on the touring front, which sucks. 'Cause I love touring, but like I think that
it's just an opinion of yours.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
And it's just speculation. And I don't think anything that you're saying couldn't happen.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are going to get rid of the actual touring. I think if anything, it's going to be an added feature, but I don't think it's going to replace stuff.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Maybe not right away. I don't think it will, but I think ultimately it will. Which is, I'm not saying it's a good thing.
I don't think it'll replace it ever.
What do you think, Chris?
Well, us old fucks will probably always be like, remember the good old days when you could see a show in person, you could smell the sweat. Is that whole thing.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to also know, like, as someone who, I do spend a lot of time with kids, and like half of them have a panic attack if they have to go like do a checkout, like in a grocery store. I mean, like, I hate to say it, but I don't see this trend of anxiety going anywhere but up. I watched a generation of kids just like die mentally, like getting glued to screens in just like a year and a half. The ones that were like locked down and like stuck to screens doing like school 12 hours a day. And then like when they're done with school, they're playing Roblox and Minecraft and all this stuff. And like their work and their play and their everything is involved, centered around screens nonstop. And we know that blue light causes depression and anxiety. And that's why I'm not saying that's why, there's a number of reasons, but I know that trends, like anxiety is definitely trending upward. Like I always say that, I say like depression is trending. That's like my thing.
It is.
And I feel like as these kids are growing up, like ironically, like, yes, they are more interconnected. Like a lot of them have more friends than I did as a kid growing up, but they spend exponentially less physical time with them. They have online friends and online relationships. And like, I have a good chunk of kids that have like boyfriends and girlfriends and like thems that they've never met and maybe never will. And like, that's their relationship. And they're getting more and more comfortable with because they were raised by iPads and they have anxiety and they have depression because they stare at blue light for 12 hours a day. And I think that as that kind of increase is like, why would they want to physically go anywhere, when they could just stay in their safe little bubble and not have to leave, so.
Because outside's pretty nice.
To you, boomer.
I agree.
I'm a fucking boomer because outside is good. They've been having fucking shows outside for thousands of years. And you're saying like, no. People don't want to do that anymore. They want to stay at home.
I didn't say that.
It's bullshit.
I didn't say that right now. No one said that right now.
I'm saying ever.
The trend.
I'm saying I definitely see this getting better technology and people are going to want to do it. But I think virtual reality is never going to be able to beat real life.
That is subjective.
I think that's just the truth.
We will check in on that in 30 years and then see where.
I'm saying 100.
Bro, I won't take mushrooms out in public. I've missed out on a lot of amazing festival experiences because of my proclivity for comfort, and all I'm saying is that if I get a nice bodysuit, some goggles that can take me there, I will certainly eat some mushrooms and have a festival experience.
And
in
he's
that
never
capacity.
seen The Matrix.
I'm not into The Matrix. Never watched it.
Oh, what? You got to do that, man.
I tried recently.
We all know how
and I fell
they were
asleep.
just loving being in The Matrix, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "Oh, this is so great."
I didn't say it was gonna be
They were
better.
dying to get out.
I didn't say it was gonna be better. I'm
Dying to get out.
I'm not saying that it's going to be better or that society is gonna be better because of it. All I'm saying is like the dinosaurs went extinct at some point.
Yeah, because
like,
the asteroid. What are you talking about?
all I'm saying is that everything comes to an end. It's not for the it's not for the betterment of anything. It just is what it is, and that's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I just disagree like wholeheartedly. But you have some good points.